Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Language Lab class. In Language Lab, we are discussing the basic part of the language, that is grammar. So, we have already started. Today, we will discuss adverb. So, we have noticed that we have discussed parts of speech. What is parts of speech? Parts of speech is basically some there are different kind of actions. Every word is playing in a sentence. So parts of speech refers to the different kind of actions. So we discussed nouns. Nouns are the naming words. We discussed pronouns. Pronouns are the replacement of noun. An adjective, we have discussed that adjective is a modifier of noun and pronoun. So we have not discussed in detail. Now what is verb? Verb is the action word. We have discussed verb. And we have also discussed tense. So today we will discuss adverb. So what is adverb? Adverb is the modifier of verb. Like adjective is the modifier of noun and pronoun. So adverb is a modifier of verb and adjective. Now the easy way to understand adverb is where you can see ly with the word. So those words are the adverb. Now let's see in detail. So what is adverb? An adverb is a word that modifies a verb or an adjective. See the example in the bracket. He sings loudly or very tall. Here, loudly is the adverb. It is modifying the verb sings. Like how he is singing loudly. Or an adjective like very tall. Tall is the adjective here. So very is the adverb, like how much tall, very tall. Another adverb or even a whole sentence. Like fortunately, I had bought an umbrella. Fortunately is the adverb here. You can understand because ly is there with the word. So adverbs often end in ly, but some look exactly the same as their adjective counterparts. So and what I told, like adverbs are basically ending with y, so you can easily understand that. And sometimes you cannot like all the adverbs not ending with ly. That's why you may like confuse with the adjective. So adverb is a word that modifies a verb. Like loudly, he sings loudly, very tall. Another adverb, too, quickly. So there are two adverbs also can be sitting together in a sentence, or even a whole sentence like fortunately. The one sentence is starting with an adverb only. Now fast is another adverb which may uh, look exactly like adjective. Okay, so this is adverb. This is a basic conception of adverb. See some examples like Tom Longboat did not run badly. So here Tom is a noun, Tom Longboat is a noun, and did not run is a verb, and badly is the adverb. So here the adverb is modifying the verb run. How he did not run, did not run badly. Number two is Tom is very tall. So here tall is the adjective and very is the adverb. So this adverb is modifying the adjective tall. That's why very is the adverb here. Number three, the race finished too quickly. So this is one example where two adverbs are used in one sentence. Two is another one adverb and quickly is another adverb. So both the adverbs are modifying the word race. This one we already discussed that this in this sentence uh, we are using the adverb at the very beginning, fortunately. Like fortunately, Lucy recorded Tom's win. So adverb also modify verbs. Like this means that they describe the way an action is happening. So number one is Philip sings loudly in the shower. So here loudly is the adverb. Next is my cat waits impatiently for his food. Now impatiently is the adverb. I will seriously consider your suggestion. Seriously is the adverb. So just what we have done here, we have added ly with the main word. Loud plus ly. So this way we have made adverbs from these words. Now the adverbs in each sentence above answer the question in what manner. Like how does Philip sing? If I question you, like how does Philip sing, we can get the answer loudly. How does my cat wait impatiently? So all the adverbs are referring to the uh, adverb of manners. So how will I consider your suggestion? Seriously. Adverbs can answer other types of questions about how an action is performed. And they can also tell you when and where. So if I get any answer like when and where, those are also adverbs. Like however, there is one type of verb that doesn't mix with all adverbs, like linking verbs, such as feel, smell, sound, seem, appear, typically need adjectives, not adverbs. So this there are some verbs, some linking verbs with which adverb cannot be used. There we need only adjectives. So if we try to make any sentence with feel, smell, sound, seem, appear, we cannot make any sentence with adverbs. We cannot put any adverb here. So very common example of this type of mix-up is I feel badly. We cannot write that because feel is a verb. It seems to call for an adverb rather than an adjective. So, but feel isn't just any verb, it's a linking verb. So, an adverb would describe how you perform the action of feeling. So, an adjective describes what you feel. I feel badly means that you are bad at feeling things. If you are trying to read Braille through thick leather gloves, then it might take sense for you to say, I feel badly. But if you are trying to say that you are experiencing negative emotions, then you have to write, I feel bad, which is right. So this one is right and this one is wrong. So with which verbs you cannot use adverbs? These are the verbs. Feel, smell, sound, seem, appear. So what we have discussed till now, we are discussing adverb. Now we discussed that adverb is a word that modifies a verb and adjective or another adverb or even a whole sentence. So I have given one example like fortunately I had brought an umbrella. So this is one example. So adverbs are often end in ly, but some look exactly the same as their adjective counterparts. You can note down the definition.
আমাদেরই সবাইরই কেউ আলাদা জানে আগের হ্যালো
Now these are some example of adverbs I have given. Like you can easily identify adverbs when it is ending with ly. Sometimes you can confuse with the word like very. Very is the adverb, it's not adjective. And in one sentence, we can use two adverbs also, like to and quickly. So these are two adverbs we have used it in one sentence. Like in the last one, fortunately. So we have used the adverb at the very beginning, like fortunately, Lucy recorded Tom's win. Now, how can I say adverbs often modify verbs? This means that they describe the way an action is happening. So, what is the action here? Singing. Philip sings loudly in the shower. Now, what is the adverb here? Loudly. Because it is modifying the word verb. What is the verb sings and how he is singing loudly. In the second one, my cat waits impatiently for his food. Now, what is the verb waits and what is the adverb impatiently? So, simply we have add ly with the adjective. So, impatient is the adjective and ly is the verb. I will seriously consider your suggestion. So, serious is the adjective and ly is the verb. Now, there are some points to remember. The adverbs in each of the sentence above answer the question in what manner. Like, how does Philip sing? How does my cat wait? How will I consider your suggestion? Everything answers like what manner they are behaving. So, adverbs can also answer what types of question and how an action was performed. Like they can also tell you when and where. Like if you ask anything and you can find the answer of when and where, you can also say that these are adverbs. However, there is one type of verb that doesn't mix well with adverbs. Those are linking verbs, and these are the list: feel, smell, sound, see, and appear. So uh, why it is so? So because feel is a verb and it seems to call for an adverb rather than an adjective. But feel isn't just any verb, it's a linking verb. So an adverb would describes how you perform the action of feeling. An adjective describes what you feel. Like I feel badly means that you are bad at feelings. If you are trying to read braille through thick leather gloves, then it might make sense. Like I feel badly. But if you are trying to say that you are experiencing negative emotion, so I feel bad is a crazy one. So you cannot write I feel badly. You have to write I feel bad. Now adverbs and adjectives. So adverbs can also modify adjectives and other adverbs. Often the purpose of adverb is to add a degree of intensity to the adjective. So what is the first sentence? The woman is quite pretty. Now what it is told, like adverbs can also modify adjectives and it purpose of the adverb is to add a degree. So here pretty is the adjective and how much pretty the woman is quite pretty. So she's very beautiful, she's very pretty. So here quite is the adverb. Number two is the book is more interesting than the last one. So if you ask how interesting is the book, you can get the answer that the book is more interesting. Number three, the weather report is almost always right. So almost is the adverb and always is also the adverb. So there are two adverbs before the adjective. The adverb almost is modifying the adverb always. They are both modifying right. Is my singing too loud? My cat is incredibly happy to have his dinner. We will be slightly late. The bridesmaid dress is a very unflattering shade of hues. So he's asking how is he singing? It is again adverb of manner. Second one is also adverb of manner. Third one is also how much we're slightly late. Fourth one is also how much flattering very. Now adverbs and other adverbs. So you can use an adverb to describe another adverb.
Hello.
So if you want to, you could use several. So like Philip sings rather enormously too loudly. So here you are using another one adverb to describe another. So like enormously and loudly. The problem is that it often produces weak and clunky sentences like the new one ever. So be careful not to overdo it. Adverbs and other adverbs is done. Like degree of comparison. We know the degree of comparison we can count in adjective. But in adverbs also we can show degree of comparison. Although it's slightly less common to use them this way with certain flat adverbs, the comparative and superlative forms look the same as the adjective comparative and superlative forms. So it's usually better to use stronger adverbs, adjectives and verbs. So rather than relying on comparative or superlative adverbs. These are some examples. Like an absolute adverb describes something in its own right. Like he smiled warmly, has still a written note to make the comparative form of an adverb and ends in ly. He smiled more warmly. The more has still a written note contain the clue to make the superlative form of an adverb that ends in ly. And the word most. So if you are writing like he smiled warmly, and if you are writing he smiled most warmly, you can find the difference. Like here you are saying that most warmly, like how much warmly, most warmly, and there you are saying warmly. How he smiled warmly. So you can identify the degree of comparison here. A has still a written note or the most has still a written note. The two degrees are different. So this way you can differentiate between the difference. Okay, now placement of adverbs. The placement of adverbs as close as possible to the words they're supposed to modify. Putting the adverb in the wrong spot can produce an awkward sentence at base and completely change the meaning at worst. So be especially careful about the word only, which is one of the most often misplaced modifiers. Like you can consider difference between these two sentences. Philip only fed the cat. and Philip fed only the cat. So if you are placing one word in two different places, then the meaning is completely changing. Like Philip only fed the cat means Philip was alone there who fed the cat, and Philip fed only the cat means Philip like there only the cat was there. There was no other animal. These are two difference, and you have to be careful where you are using the adverb. The first sentence means that all Philip did was feed the cat. He didn't feed the cat or pick it up or anything else. The second sentence means that Philip fed the cat but didn't feed the dog, the bird, or anyone else. What I told you. So when an adverb is modifying a verb phrase, the most natural place for the adverb is usually the middle of the phrase. So you have to use adverbs basically in the middle of the phrase. Like we are quickly approaching the deadline. Philip has always loved singing. I will happily assist you. Like this. When to avoid adverbs? There is an author, Ernest Hemingway. He is often held up as an example of a great writer and who detested adverbs and advised other writers to avoid them. So in reality, it's impossible to avoid adverbs. Sometimes you need them, and all writers use them occasionally. The trick is to avoid unnecessary adverbs when your verb or adjective doesn't seem powerful or precise enough. So instead of reaching for an adverb to add mood, color, try reaching for a stronger verb and adjective instead. So try to use the adjective or verb in your sentence, not adverb, but it's not at all possible. Okay. Now these are some type of adverbs. Conjunctive, conjunctive adverbs, adverbs of frequency, adverbs of time, adverbs of manner, adverbs of degree, and adverbs of place. So before starting this, we will discuss what we have discussed so far. So you can see that adverbs are placing like in before the adjective. There you can use two adverbs in sentence. Sometimes adverbs are describing another adverb also. Degree of comparison. Like adjectives, adverb also show degree of comparison. Like he smiled warmly and he smiled most warmly. But if you write he smiled more warmly, you can understand the difference. Okay, the placement of adverb is very important because it's changing the meaning. Like Philip only fed the cat and Philip fed only the cat. So now we'll discuss this kind of adverbs. Please note it down. Conjunctive adverb, adverb of frequency, adverb of time, adverb of manner, adverbs of degree, and adverbs of place. So what are conjunctive adverbs? Unlike the other types of adverbs we look at, conjunctive adverbs play an important grammatical role in the sentences. Basically, a conjunctive adverb is an adverb that acts like conjunction. The conjunction basically joins two sentences. The conjunctive adverb also does the same. Suppose I went to the store to buy new shoes, however, the store was already closed. This is one kind of adverb. And Joey was playing in the sandbox. Meanwhile, his brother Noah was sleeping in a hammock. So it is again joining two sentences. Candy isn't a healthy breakfast, instead you could eat fruit. So in all the sentence, you can see these adverbs are joining two sentences, like what acting as conjunction. Delia is the most popular member of the band, therefore. So here, if all the adverbs are joining, that's why it is conjuncting adverb. So we have discussed what is adverb, what are the difference between adjective and adverb, how you can find it out. But there are different kind of adverbs that we'll discuss in the next class. Today we have just started like what is conjunctive adverb. That is when one adverb is joining two sentences, that is conjunctive adverb. Anybody has any query here? Okay, then we will conclude the session here. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.